Hello. I'm always fascinated by the exercise and the sleep and the so-called good habits, whether they prevent certain things or not. I've done several videos on prevention of dementia or delaying the dementia with the exercise. I also talked about sleep and its relation with dementia. One of the things which is very easy to understand that inadequate sleep can lead to increase in certain hormones and steroids or corticosteroids and cortisol, which are to some extent detrimental to the vasculature, etc. But today I'm going to do again another video on exercise or on walking or taking the steps. In the past, I had done a video which showed how many steps are good for dementia. This one is a study that was done to assess whether a cardiovascular risk, getting heart attacks or vascular problems, strokes, etc., can be reduced by doing regular walking. And this was published in one of the British journals. And interestingly enough, they divided this time into two groups. The study had a large population, follow-up was I think about 6-7 years, and a population consisted of approximately 77,000 plus people. They divided the group into two different subsegments. One was where their sedentary lifestyle was less than 10.5 hours of sedentary lifestyle. The other group had a sedentary lifestyle where they had sedentary life more than 10.5 hours. To me, this was one of the most attractive things about the study. People who usually sit at the office desk or at home in front of TV, what we call as couch potatoes. But many of us, unfortunately, tend to do that. We work for 8, 9, 10 hours, and then we tend to come home and entertain ourselves by sitting in front of TV. And so many of us are sleeping at night 6 to 7 hours. And so it is easy to see how we could have a sedentary lifestyle, not much exercise. So this particular group of 77,174 to be exact, people were divided into mild and high sedentary lifestyle based on number of hours of sedentary, 10.5 hours less or more than 10.5 hours. And then they followed these people for development of cardiovascular elements. And it was very interesting because they calculated how many steps each one of them took. There were several deaths and diagnosis of cardiovascular mortality and morbidity both. And they found out that at 5th percentile, little statistics here, 2,200 steps were taken. So on the low end of the spectrum, 5th percentile, there were 2,200 steps taken. They compared the mortality of this low end of exercise to the high end of the taking the steps. So they found out a statistically significant decrease in cardiovascular mortality as the number of steps taken were increased. So more steps you take or more active you are, less is the mortality. To me, the interesting part was how many steps are enough or how many steps are not enough. So they compared lowest of 2,200, below which the mortality was same, I'm presuming. But as the number of steps increased, like instead of taking 2,200, somebody took 4,000, 5,000, 6,000, 7,000, or even 10,000 or more. They found out that the significant reduction or highest reduction was done in patients, or rather the patients that took 10,500 steps. So roughly between 9,000 to 10,500 steps, there was not, after which there was not much of an improvement in the mortality. So decrease in mortality did not continue to go beyond 10,000 steps. The 50% reduction, again, we are comparing people who did not exercise or people who took less than 2,200 steps. The 50% reduction occurred in people that took 4,000 to 5,000 steps. So it doesn't surprise me, and hopefully it should not surprise anyone, that walking more helps, but walking beyond certain amount does not continue to improve the mortality. I see lots of patients that walk 1,000, 1,200, 1,500, or even 2,000 steps. This is not a protection against cardiovascular mortality. If you want to reduce the mortality below 50%, you must take minimum 4,000 to 5,000 steps. And if you want to get the maximum benefit, then one must walk 9,000 plus to 10,500 steps. If you walk 20,000 steps, there is no further increase in health, or there is no further decrease in mortality. Again, they did not calculate how many steps per minute one took to complete these number of steps, because that also has been shown, that what are the minimum speed with which one should walk. But in any case, I'm extremely glad that exercise does help. Now, there are three kinds of exercises that we need after a certain age, or for that matter, even age after 40. Flexibility, which is done by a lot of people who do yoga. Cardio, which is done by either a treadmill or elliptical or running, jogging, etc., where your heart rate goes up. And last but not least is the muscle toning. Most of the people who do walking, and I've seen in India a lot of people doing 1-hour walks, are not doing flexibility and are not doing muscle toning exercises. In my personal opinion, all three must be combined, especially as one ages and muscles become flabby, muscle mass is lost. One study had shown that the loss of muscle mass starts literally in early 30s. If you look at your palm, this muscle is the first one. You can easily see that you're getting muscle loss. So we all lose muscles. Loss of muscles is important because that causes osteoporosis in women, gaining of the weight as the muscles burn the calories. And when the muscle mass is low, you're not burning same calories at rest. So please combine the three. Flexibility, that is important for the joints. It is very easy to go through flexibility exercises in less than 5 minutes. Second is cardio. You can calculate your maximum heart rate 220 minus age. That is the maximum heart rate that is allowed safely. Best is to make 80% of that. Again, if you have a cardiac issues, lung issues, you must check with your physician before you start these kind of exercises. But your heart rate must go up for the cardio. And last but not least is the muscle toning. So doing the muscle toning exercises, especially in the women, will prevent osteoporosis, will keep the muscle mass, and does not allow to gain weight. If you're going to take steps, if you're going to walk, doing cardio, 9,000 to 10,000 maximum, minimum 5,000 to reduce the cardiac mortality. I hope this helps. Thank you for watching. If you like, please subscribe. Have a nice day.